Hi, I'm Andrew, and welcome to the Neon Knitter. So, today I'm going to be showing you guys my yarns for the Westknits Mystery Knit Along 2023 Geo Gradient. So, I'm filming this video a little bit early. Oh shoot, what's the date today? Um, Today is Wednesday, September 13th. I had to think about it for a second. Yeah, today is Wednesday, September 13th. I'm not going to post this until October 1st, but I don't want to wind my yarns until I show you, and so then I'll have some time to play around with my yarns and do the swatch and all the things if I so choose to. But I waited until today because my goodie package from Stephen and Penelope arrived, so that I can show that off. You know, with like the bag and the sticker and the tag and yeah. So, first I'm going to mention I'm wearing last year's Mystery Knit Along. This is my Twists and Turns. And guys, this year I hope to not take 6 months to knit the MKAL. Hopefully I'll get it done right away. If we get a section like Clue 3, I'm just going to power through it. Might take me a little longer to do it if I don't have as many scenarios in which I'm able to work on it in due to the techniques used, but you know, I'm going to try to actively stay up to date on the MKAL as much as I can this year and just I'm still catching up on people's content because I was trying to keep the MKAL a mystery. So I'm still catching up on other YouTubers I watch, and there's some I haven't even gotten to catching up on yet. And it's a whole year later. So I don't want to continue with that. So yeah. And try to get the MKAL done right away because I like doing it as a true mystery. But yeah, enough ranting on about that. You're here to see my yarns. So so for starters, I'm going to mention my MKAL goodie package arrived today. And if you're wondering, yeah, I ordered a couple of Westknits enamel pins for my pin collection. This one says Keep on Knitting Kittens, this pink hexagon. And this one is Westknits Are the Best Knits. It's this blue circle. I added those to my cart separately. That did not come with my goodie bundle. Because those are some pins that I don't already have on my pin collection. Because I have a lot of the Westknits pins. There's some others I don't have that were out of stock, so if they ever restock them, I'll order them. But I don't just order the pins when I find one I don't have, because shipping is ridiculous from Stephen and Penelope all the way here to Minnesota. So I wait until I have actually something I want to order, and then I just throw some pins into my cart ones I don't have. So I did that. But anyways, let's move on to what's actually in the goodie package. So one of the items you get is this Westknits needle gauge and gauge swatch ruler. Yeah. Most people are going to find this really handy and nice. I do like the style of last year's needle gauge because there weren't any holes. It was just an open thing. You just slide your needle in until it stops. That's kind of nice. You don't have to keep poking through different holes. But this year you've got a standard one with holes. I'm probably not going to use this needle gauge. Not to say that I won't use the 4-inch gauge swatch thing, because that might be kind of nice, rather than just using the ruler I've been using. But I don't think I'll use the needle gauge part because I almost exclusively knit with the collage square needles. The only reason I wouldn't is if a pattern calls for a size they don't make, which is 7mm and 13, 15, 17, and 19. Because they do actually make 35 and 50. I know, they do. But I don't have those, but someday I hope to get them. But anyways, Collage Square has their own special needle gauge for square needles, and so I do have that. So I don't knit with round needles, except for those sizes I mentioned, which is 13, 15, 17, and 19. I use Knitter's Pride. The Knitter's Pride cubic square needles do come in 7mm, so I do have those. But anyways, but we're not here to talk about what needles I use. I'm just mentioning that I probably won't use the needle gauge part of this. And I do find that the needle gauges that come in these goodie bundles do kind of clutter up my stuff, and I could do without those, but, you know, it's worth it to get all the other items, so. Then we have these SewOn Tags. So in here we have 4 Westknits SewOn Tags, and you might be familiar with the Westknits tags I already have. The front has the Westknits logo and the back say Westknits are the best knits. Well, they now have a new design showing how to care for your garment, which I think is kind of neat. And then it's got the Westknits logo on front. So there's 5 tags in here, 4 plain Westknits ones, and 1 MKAL 2023 tag. So that'll be sewn on to my Geo Gradient shawl when I am finished. I'm not going to take these out of the package right now, but you will see the tag when my shawl is finished. Okay, I opened the package with the tags, and can we just take a moment to look at how freaking huge the tag is this year? The tags have never been this big before, and I don't really like how big they are. I'm still going to sew it onto my shawl, but I wish they were the same size as the last couple years, because honestly, it's just freaking huge. Okay. Just because I don't really want to open that at the moment. Excuse me. Okay. Then, we also get the MKAL 2023 Tote Bag. And I like this year's bag a lot better than last year's, because if you participated in the MKAL or watched my videos or just really know anything about the goodies from last year, you will know that the bag was about the size of a sock project bag. I'd show you, but I think I left that bag downstairs. But yeah, it's about the size of a sock project bag and really had no business having a shawl project inside of it. Yep, it said MKAL 2022 on it, and that was the bag we were given. So I used it because it was the official MKAL bag and I wanted to use it, but I think towards the end of the project I ended up having to stick it inside of a bigger bag. So I wasn't too happy about that. And I think a lot of people mentioned that it was really tiny and they wanted a bigger bag. So this year, they have listened and they now have a huge tote bag for this year's project bag. And it comes in 3 different colors. I'm blanking on what they all are off the top of my head. But you didn't get to choose. It was a mystery which bag you were getting. So here's the one that I got. They all have the same design, it's just a matter of what color you get. So I got the, I don't know if this is red or if it's a burnt orange, with this kind of like highlighter green. Kind of like a highlighter greeny yellow color, but leaning more towards green, I think. Yeah. And it's got handles. I didn't take the tag off yet because I was going to show you guys the tag, or what brand it is. So if you want to read that, pause the video. Unless you, of course, have one yourself, then just read the tag in person. But anyways, yeah, so that is the color of the bag I got. Um, and then, oh, I also purchased another cord for my interchangeable needle set. I didn't have a 47-inch cord because I think my old one broke or something. And you only need a 40-inch, I'm pretty sure. I think that's what Steven said. But I, however, don't currently have a cord that is not being used for a project because I do currently have 3 sweaters in progress. Technically 4 if you count the Intarsia one I'm working on, but that one's kind of on hibernation at the moment, so. Plus I do have another cord taking up my Aurora cabin shawl. So I don't really have a free cord, so I ordered another one just so that I could actually cast on right away without sticking a project onto a holder of some sort. So, then the last item that comes in the goodie pack are this year's stickers. So we get this MKAL sticker. We get this MKAL sticker. And this is the Westknits MKAL 2023 sticker for this year. So, what am I going to do with my stickers? Well, with these two, I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. Because in the past, he's only given us one sticker, and it's always been this one. But I do know what I'm doing with this sticker. This usually hangs on my wall, but I took it down so that I could add this to it. Now, ideally, I think I'd have a black frame or something, but this is just a random frame I had in my stuff. It's an IKEA frame. But this usually hangs on my wall. This comes down about once a year to get a sticker added. And so then this one's just going to go like right here. Yeah, so this, if I did my math correctly, should hold about 20 stickers, so it'll be a few years before I need a new frame. Because I'm only on my 3rd one out of 20 that fit in here. Yeah, and so this is only going to showcase the years I've actually participated, so if I were to, for some reason, skip a year, then that sticker would be missing from here. I'm not going to skip a year, you guys. I better be sick and dying in the hospital to skip a year, because I am very dedicated to the MKAL. I will participate every year. Okay? But yeah. So that's the 2021 sticker and the 2022 sticker. And they are still on their backings. I just stuck a loop of tape on the back of the sticker and then taped it there. And if you're wondering, this is the paper that came inside the frame. I just flipped it over to the blank white side, rather than having the side that said the dimensions of the frame on it. So, yeah. So, I will pop a photo on the screen once I get this put in here, but I'm not doing that while I film this video, so I will pop a photo on the screen once this is in here, because I have plenty of time before October 1st to do that. So right now I have a very plain spot on my wall, but that will go right back up as soon as I get that in there. So, those are all of the MKAL goodies. Now I'm going to show you my yarn I picked for this year. So, I'm very proud of myself. I went stash diving this year. And you guys know that in the past I have purchased my yarn. Now, I like to do my own unique thing, which is why I just buy a goodie bundle and not a kit. So 2021 was an interesting way of getting my yarns. I ordered 4 out of 5 of my yarns online, but from 4 different websites, and then I got my 5th one in person. It was kind of find random things and put them together. 4 of my yarns ended up being from the same brand, but you know, that's how it ended up. Then for Twists and Turns, which was last year, I went to Stephen B and just picked my yarns. And this is what I ended up liking, so that's what came home with me. But yeah, this year, I went stash diving. So, I usually buy my yarn with a project in mind. But lately, I've discovered that there's some things I've bought yarn for that I'm probably never ever going to get around to making, and that I maybe don't actually want to make. And so, there's things I've bought yarn for where I've decided, you know, I'm going to find another project for this yarn at some point. Let's just have it sit in my stash and the right pattern will show itself. So, my plan for this year was to go and purchase my yarns. Excuse me. At the end of the month, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend, I have a fiber fair coming up, and that video should be up before this one. But yeah, again, I'm filming this on Wednesday, September 13th, and this is not going live until October 1st. But 2 weekends from when I'm filming this, I will be attending a fiber fair. It is called Yarn Over, and it is going to be taking place in Plymouth, Minnesota, at a hotel. I forget what the hotel is called, but it's in a hotel convention center. And so I'm going to go the Saturday of that weekend. And this will be old news by the time you see this video, because you'll have already seen my fiber fair video. But anyways, I had my yarn all picked out. Well, I shouldn't say all picked out, because I had a specific base from a specific dyer picked out that I wanted to use for this year's MKAL. Then as soon as Steven released the yarn requirements and that it was a 4 skein gradient, I realized that that yarn doesn't come in the right combo or color palette, because there's just not enough colors of it to, you know, make a 4 skein gradient. So I decided, okay, let me just go look and see what I have in my stash, and if I don't have anything, then I'll buy at the fiber fair. And I ended up pulling out a couple combos from my stash, and I posted to Facebook asking people's opinions, and yeah, I went with the most popular one, and honestly my favorite. So alright, here are my colors that I have picked. I'm going to start with color A. This is my lightest one in my gradient. This is by Zen Yarn Garden. If you're wanting the label ripped off, it's supposed to be attached to this. But this is by Zen Yarn Garden. It is their Serenity Silk Plus, and it is in the colorway Yellow Opal. This is 75% superwash merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk, 500 yards. So this is a 500 yard skein. It is a light fingering, so out of the 4 yarns, I think this is a little thinner than the rest of them, but I think it'll still work for my project. It also has a fewer number of plies, and it's the most different from the rest of my yarns. But I think the color works really well, so I think this will be nice. But yeah, Ravelry listed it as a light fingering, so I think it'll be nice. Alright, my color B is pretty special. Now don't be fooled by how tiny the skein is. I actually have 5 of these. I've only pulled out 4 for my MKAL because I think that's all I'm going to need. And I couldn't find what I did with the 5th one, but this is Patton's Purple Heather in color number 2245. This is 100% wool, and it's 1 ounce. It says it's somewhere between 28 to 35 grams. And there's no yardage listed, but Ravelry says it might be about 112 yards. And guys, this is vintage yarn. The listing on Ravelry for this particular yarn seems to indicate it might be from the 60s or the early 70s, but most likely the 60s. So color B is vintage yarn from the 1960s, and that's pretty cool. But it's 100% wool, it's fingering weight. And I got this at Stephen B in Minneapolis. And I saw remnants of Goodwill tags on it, so I'm thinking that they must have found it at Goodwill, maybe? I don't know. But I'm honestly not sure how the store got this yarn. All I know is they had a whole basket of it, and this was the only color they had of it. But like I mentioned, I have 4 skeins here, and I have a 5th one somewhere in my stash. So if the 4th skein runs out, I have more. But I only have 5, but yeah. This was originally supposed to be my main color for the Penny Square scarf by Stephen West, but I've since decided I don't want to make that pattern anymore. Because honestly, guys, I've been more drawn to sweaters lately, and so there's some shawls I've since decided I don't want to make anymore. The MKAL I will totally still do. But yeah. So, oh, and I forgot to mention where I got color A. I bought this at Sedona Knitwits in Sedona, Arizona. It was on clearance. I was on a vacation to the Grand Canyon 2 years ago. No, it was the beginning of April of 2022. Yeah, 2022. Yep. So it's 2022 that I went to the Grand Canyon, and I bought this at Sedona Knitwits in Sedona, Arizona, because it was on clearance, and I thought the color was pretty. And I got this at Stephen B. Okay, color C is this orange. And this is just a commercial skein of sock yarn. It's just a Osterman Step Classic. It's color number 1015. I can't really show you because there's a price tag covering it up, but I've tried taking the price tag off, it just rips it. So, but if I'm shining the light on it just so I can see through the thing to tell you what the color number is, but yeah, this is 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon. And let's see, how many yards does it have? 420 meters. I think that's about 460 yards. I could be wrong. Might be 459 maybe. I don't know. 459 or 460 yards, I think. Because I know I've looked it up before. But yeah. Then we have color D. Oh, and I got this at Stephen B. Then we have color D. This is Haiku Madrona in the colorway Firethorn Berry. This is 30% baby alpaca, 30% merino wool, 20% viscose from bamboo, and 20% nylon. 100 grams, 460 yards. So, yeah, and I got this at Knitwise Yarns in Nakusa, Wisconsin. If you're wondering, that's my grandparents' local yarn store, because they live in Nakusa. Well, they live in a township just outside of Nakusa, but that's where I got this yarn, was in Nakusa. So that's my color D. And I have a whole bunch of Haiku Madrona because I bought 6 different colors of it to knit a shawl. I'm blanking on the name of the pattern right now, but it's a Stephen West pattern. But I've since decided I don't want to make that pattern, so I am finding new purposes for those yarns. So, yeah. So, here are my yarns for this year. I'm going to hold them all up so you can see them. So yeah, that's the yarns. I think that's going to look really beautiful, and I'm pretty excited about it. Before filming, I forgot to grab my shirt out of the closet that this is going to go with, but I'll let that be a surprise for when the shawl is finished. You guys can see the shirt then. Yeah, I already had that in my closet as well. I didn't have to go shopping, so I'm pretty excited about that. So really the only thing I had to purchase was the goodie package and the pattern. So yeah, so that is all of the MKAL stuff I have to show for today. I will be back when Clue 1 is finished to show that off. But yeah, here's one last look at my yarns. Yeah, I'll be back when Clue 1 is done to share that with you guys. Yeah, so that's all I have for my intro. So I'm Andrew. Thank you for checking in here at the Neon Knitter, and I will see you in the next video.